Hello, everyone. Dr. Pavelchik here, principal of Zion Benton High School. Another update as we are planning to transition into our phase 3 hybrid model beginning February 16th, which is this coming Tuesday. So I want to take a few minutes to just explain the transition process, do the best I can to provide, provide you all with as much information as I think is necessary to just start and to kind of get the ball rolling. There will be a number of details that we'll be sharing with students once they arrive, but for at least for the time being, want to make sure that everyone feels pretty comfortable with how things are going to roll next week, whether you've chosen to do in-person learning or whether you've chosen to do remote learning and stay remote. So with that being said, Tuesday, February 16th, right around the corner, we're transitioning to phase 3, which is our hybrid model. Many students have chosen to continue to learn remotely, which is great, while many have also chosen to come in person and start that process as well. So we're excited for both opportunities to be afforded to all of you. And we're doing our very best to make sure that all the experiences are going to be quality for sure as we close out, as we kind of continue into second semester and move forward with all the learning that's necessary. As a result, we've created a schedule to accommodate both situations. So let me start with remote students. That's a little bit easier. Remote learning is in essence the same as it always has been, except remote learning is going to switch to the afternoon hours. Odd periods will be on Mondays and Wednesdays, and even periods on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just like they always have been. Students will need to begin their remote learning in the late morning, afternoon hours, starting at 11:40. That's going to progress through those afternoon hours, as you can see on this schedule, till 2:35. Students will get into Chromebooks, open up, get into those Canvas pages that of their classes, click on those Zoom links and enter those teacher virtual Zoom rooms. Attendance will be taken as always. Learning will progress as always. The only difference is that it's in the afternoon. Advisory will meet as well during the assigned periods in the afternoon. They will be a little bit shorter, so your advisors will likely be releasing students out of that a little earlier, which is fine. Study halls for those students who have them will not meet virtually. I encourage you to use that time to complete work, get caught up, maybe take a little bit of a break, but we really want you to use any free time productively. That's important. The morning hours should be used to complete homework, study, and just get things done for your respective classes. This is the asynchronous time. Any remote student who has after-school activities or a sport will be provided time to get to school for any meetings, any practices, etc., that they may have. With the school day ending for remote learners at 2:35, there is a window of time that will be worked out with your respective coaches, teachers, and sponsors. We definitely want you to have the same opportunities to participate in all of our after-school activities and events. Pay attention, remote learners, to Friday, but know that it's pretty much the same. Actually, it's exactly the same as we started the second semester with all 8 periods running virtually. Remember, on Fridays, there is no advisory. So whether it's 4th, 5th, or 6th period, use that time as a little break. Maybe get a snack at home. Use that time productively to maybe get some work done. I also want to remind all of our remote learners on Fridays that there are no study halls virtually, and that's the way we've been running things all year long. Anyone with a scheduled study hall at any time during the day or during their learning day, that time should just be used productively on your own, asynchronously, to just get some homework done, maybe get a quick snack, but please use that time wisely. The biggest changes are for our in-person learners. And so let's start first with getting to school. So for in-person learners, your school day will start officially at 7:50, meaning you need to be in the building in your classrooms at 7:50 a.m. So it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment since typically you've been starting a little bit later in the morning. The typical 3 ways that students get to school are still in play here. Our buses will be running as they have been in the past. We will have a full bus run going out. Those of you choosing to take buses, use our busing transportation to arrive to school and go home. All of this information can be found under our busing tab in Skyward Family Access. So please, please, please take a look at that as you prepare for Tuesday the 16th. Those students who want to drive their own cars to school, that's readily available just as it has in the past. Use our northwest parking lot. A big change this year, though, is that parking is entirely free. So just come on Tuesday the 16th, drive to school, park. Please make sure you're in this building before at least 7:40, which will give you plenty of time to get screened and get to that first or second period class. We will work with students in the first couple of weeks to get information out to you so that you can provide us with information about your car. We are going to ask students to get stickers to park in our parking lot, but again, that'll be free, and it's just a matter of filling out some paperwork. Those parents or guardians who are electing to drive their sons or daughters to school and drop them off, that's great as well. There's a change, however, with this, and it's noted in this first bullet point, as we want parent and guardians to drop off students in using our south entrance by the clock. This is labeled door T. It might be hard to see that. However, this is what we commonly call our south ramp entrance. So this is a big change with drop off for those parents, guardians who are bringing their children to school to drop them off. I ask for a little grace and patience as well as we are navigating this situation. It's going to take us a little time to really hone in on our procedures, but we feel like we've got a good plan. We just have to live it for a few days, maybe a week before we can really get it right. So again, I greatly appreciate all the assistance and patience that you can provide us. Upon entry, students will answer self-certifying questions, sanitize hands, have their temperature checked, and be required to wear a wellness band, which verifies the completion of all of our safety protocols. These bands must be worn at all times while in the building. And please, please, please follow the 3 W's. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. And be very mindful of this 6-foot distance that we have been trying to adhere to by way of our CDC guidelines. So for our in-person learners, Mondays and Wednesdays will be 4 periods, your odd periods. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be your even periods. Follow that schedule meaning you will need to go to classrooms. You may be wondering, well, I need my schedule. I don't know where my room is. All of that can be found in Skyward. So rooms have been updated. There have been a few changes, which shouldn't necessarily be too important to you as students right now, since you haven't been in the building yet. But please follow that schedule, find those classrooms. And again, I want to emphasize that we are offering a lot of grace to our students, and we will be offering a lot of patience to our students, as we know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge kind of finding your way around. So please don't worry about that. We are going to give more than enough time for all of the in-person learners to figure things out as they transition back to school as well. Upon entry, as I mentioned, students will answer these self-certifying questions. Following your schedules, as always, we will have bells that will be running during the day. We ask that students move swiftly through our hallways from point A to B, meaning from one classroom to the next. Keep to the right side of our hallways. We have mitigation strategies, we call them, that we have to adhere to. We want to create a safe environment and keep this building open for learning. We will not be allowing students to hang out or loiter in common areas. And again, I want to emphasize that as a staff here, we're going to be working very patiently and very mindfully with students to help them kind of make this adjustment. So please be prepared, students, for those changes in practices. We want to provide as much opportunities for some social interaction for you as possible, but we also have to balance the safety requirements that we have to put in place, because again, we want to keep our building open. We want to keep it open. After school hours for our in-person learners, which ends about 7:45 there on our schedule, we are asking that you go home. We want to clear our building as well, begin some cleaning processes, but please go home. There are a few exceptions. If you're a tech campus student who need to wait until the buses leave at 12:15, we'll have a place for you. That'll be communicated. We may have some students doing some behind the wheel in the afternoon as well. We will have some places for you. And then those students who may need to stick around because you're involved in an athletic team or an activity, again, we will have locations for you, and we will let you know where those are as when you arrive. So just be patient with that information, but we will take care of you. And then there will be activity buses that will run home as well. The afternoon, as you can see, for in-person learners, should be used as asynchronous learning. So from 10:40 to, I should say, about 11:40-ish, it's travel lunch for our students as well. And then that 11:45 time, that's going to be time for students to learn asynchronously, independent practice, we'll call it. Get your homework done. I implore all of our students to use that time wisely. With that amount of time, there really should be very limited reasons, if any at all, as to why a student didn't have time to complete work that was previously assigned. Really want to encourage you to use your time wisely, both in-person learners and remote learners. That is very, very, very important. Activities and athletics will run, and students will need to return to the building. If you're an in-person learner, probably around 2:40. I hope you understand we don't want you to get here too early, but all of those times will be worked out with your respective coaches or club or activity supervisors. And then just like remote learners, pay attention to Friday, because if you're an in-person learner, you will be learning remotely on Fridays, as you can see here, following your 8-period schedule. And as I mentioned earlier, for our remote learners, all students on Fridays are now remote learners. So therefore, advisories will not meet on Fridays. And if you have a study hall students, you do not need to check in on Fridays as well. So just please use that time wisely. Want to mention a little thing about food service before I transition to another slide. All students are eligible for free breakfast and lunch, and we will be working a system out for students to accommodate that. I just want to emphasize that although we will be providing food for students, we cannot allow students to eat in the building. So it will be the food that will be provided can be transported home. We're also going to be doubling up a few meals so that, if students need a breakfast, they will actually get it the day before, bring it home. Some of it may need to be refrigerated, but then we would ask that you eat that before you come to school. And I'll emphasize this again, there is no eating or drinking on our school buses as well. So that is primarily because in order to do that, you have to remove masks, and we're trying to, we must build systems in place that prevent that from happening. So I appreciate, again, all of your understanding with that. Some new rules and procedures for in-person students that we've needed to add to maintain a safe environment. There's no locker use. Many students we've found anyway don't use their lockers, so that's not going to impact many. Backpacks are fine, coats are fine, obviously, and you can bring or wear those to class. No food, no food, no food. And if I haven't said it enough, no food. We just simply cannot allow food to be eaten. Masks must be worn at all times. So candy, gum, lollipops, things like that are going to interfere with a student wearing their mask at all times, quite frankly, are just forbidden in the building. Water bottles, however, that have a built-in straw or some sort of spout that a student can just quickly insert in their mouth underneath a mask are acceptable. You know, we hope that that can be a very manageable situation. So please be mindful, though, that masks covering the nose and the mouth are imperative, and we just simply cannot compromise on that. We ask that all students wear a face covering upon entering the building or riding the bus at all times, and masks, as I said, must be worn to cover both the nose and the mouth at all times. I mentioned no eating on the bus. We're going to try and limit the number of students in our bathrooms as well at one time to no more than 3. And again, even with all of these rules, and I'll mention a little bit, it's going to take us all some time to get used to this. So I want to emphasize to all of the parents and guardians and students who are watching this, we're going to be affording a lot of patience and grace. And we ask that you do the same as you work to understand and comply with these new procedures that we have to put in place. We ask particularly parents at this point to stay, not necessarily feel like you could come in the building or make appointments until at least 8:30. We certainly will allow visitors, but our goal is to get students and staff in here safely first, get them into our classrooms, and then at that time, we will be able to accommodate any kind of visitor issues after the 8:30 hour. So please be mindful of that. And I also want to emphasize, again, that we're affording lots of grace and lots of opportunities to kind of learn how to conduct ourselves in this transition period. But you know, at worst case scenario, if a student who's an in-person learner is just really struggling to figure that out, the option for remote learning is always there, and we may need to make that call. I want to emphasize that that is for everyone. We simply can't compromise our safety protocols. Otherwise, we are putting in jeopardy students themselves and the opportunity for students who elected to learn in person to come every day and learn in person. So again, I appreciate all of your patience with that. So as we're moving forward, we will figure this out. It's going to be a learning process for everybody. We think we have enough in place, and we're prepared to receive students on the 16th next week, Tuesday. And I want to emphasize and just ask everyone to be safe. We're all in this together, and we are to create a safe and ensure a safe place for learning. And we all need to hold each other accountable. And I can assure you we will be doing that as well. So I thank you for your time today and wish everybody a good day. Be safe out there, and we can't wait to see our students here on Tuesday, February 16th, those that elected to learn in person.